Welcome to the Shoe in the Breeze Conversation with the DJ podcast with your host, Eric Lee and Lorenzo Ice-T Thomas.
What's up, Lo? What's up, Lo?
What's up, E. Lee? In the place to be. Let's get it on. Yes. Oh, well, I hitting the wrong buttons over here. There we go. There we go.
Welcome to Shoot the Breeze Conversations with the DJ. I'm yours truly, Eric Lee, and you are?
I am the LIT, the CIT, always on fire. I stay lit. Lorenzo Ice-T Thomas.
And we got a good show for you tonight.
Don't we always?
We always got a good show. Always got a good show.
Yeah.
Man, I got to apologize to some folks real quick because we started off a little late tonight because I've been having gremlins inside of my computer trying to get this thing up and running and doing what it's supposed to do. So
you sure your dog didn't get on there and try to get on and sign off for you?
Hey man, it could have been. But yeah, welcome to Shooting the Breeze Conversations with the DJ, where we get a chance to talk to some entertainers, people in the industry. We kind of just shoot the breeze with some folks. Now, we've been talking for about 10 weeks, right, Lo?
Yeah, about 10 weeks now. Yep, say that. Yep.
We've been doing the show for about 10 weeks, and for some odd reason, every time we do a show, it always goes back to this nightclub that had every artist that went through. So anybody we talked to always brought up this nightclub.
Yeah.
It was called Ivory's Uptown Lounge.
Especially last week when we talked to DJ Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, he basically put down the official stamp on the reason why we had to get tonight's host on, or tonight's guest on here as we host the show Shooting the Breeze, because he had such fond memories of this Ivory's Uptown Lounge Club, and we do too. But then when you hear it from other people and they talk about, the club and what it meant to hip hop and that era, and our guest will have to talk about how he had to deal with the success of R&B, and then as hip hop started to infiltrate, so he'll talk about how he had to adjust the things that he did when it came to marketing and promoting Ivory's Uptown Lounge. But you and I both, Eric, spent quite a few nights up in that building, upstairs on the main floor, and definitely in the basement.
Yeah,
I can hear him laughing right now. Go ahead and do the honors, man.
Oh yeah. So we go that marquee right there that you guys are seeing. We're about to bring on the man, the myth, the legend. It's Dr. Steve K. Branch. What's up, Steve? How you doing, brother?
Hey, man, I'm blessed and highly favored, and good to see both of you guys, man. So when we rewind back, I was Steve Branch, but since 2014, I'm Dr. Steve.
All right. Give it up.
Yeah, so you got the club owner and you got the man of God.
Yeah,
Amen.
Look, we all made that transition, brother.
That's right.
Absolutely. I've been blessed to receive 3 doctorates since 2014. One in counseling and communication, one in humanitarian, and one in psychology. So, but for here, I'm just Steve, man.
I gotta find out how that transition. I mean, you went from club owner to doctor.
Hey, jack of all trades and master of none.
Hey man, well, first and foremost, thank you for taking the time out to be on the show. And we gonna start because I'm a little slow on the trigger tonight because the pictures that we had loaded up, we had to reload. But I want to go back to this clip that we had, and it's crazy because it's hard to see it for some folks. But you had a lineup. This was back when you first opened up or close to it.
Yes.
That Monday nights you had the dance party. It was no cover.
Right.
Tuesday you were closed. Wednesday you had the Apollo Amateur Night. $3 cover. When's the last time somebody went to a club for $3?
Jeez.
We talking about late 80s, man. Those were the days, man.
$3. $3.
I remember when I first got started promoting in clubs and so forth before I owned my own.
Right.
That was the normal club cover for African Americans. $3 to get in the club. I remember one of the first clubs that was renting out was called Bixby's Underground Line.
I remember Bixby's.
They were owned by 2 brothers from Pakistan. And they would right down the financial district. They would be open only for breakfast and lunch, and close down every day at 3:00. So I got them to agree to allow me to rent the place out on Friday and Saturday night, so I can do dance parties. And the mission was $3. They thought black people were out of their mind paying $3 to come into a place to dance. They had no idea. They had no idea of the culture, man.
And Steve, how much were the drinks? If it only cost $3 to get in, how much were the drinks?
Man, they had the bar during that time. They took the bar, I took the door. So I don't know.
Okay.
May have been $1 or whatnot.
I know.
Rum and Coke, I don't know, maybe 150. I don't know.
Oh my God. Oh my God. And hold on, we got Thursday, Jay Lang of Magic 99. $3 cover.
The man with the golden voice.
Yeah, shout out to Jay Lang. He's down at HOV at Hampton University. Doing this thing down there. Shout out to Jay. And look, Friday night, Power 93 night with Aaron Maxwell. The after work attitude adjustment party.
Well, you guys, all three of you, we're really all four of you. Power 92 with you, Lorenzo, Aaron Maxwell, Jay Lane. Y'all made Ivory's, man. I mean, Warren Condé, you guys, you all were the hosts and MCs that entertained thousands throughout the week for years, man. And I truly appreciate that, man. So my hats off to you guys. Absolutely.
Thank you, Steve. We really appreciate that. And we really appreciate you giving us a place to where we were able to showcase our talents and our abilities and to be there throughout the weeks. I can't remember exactly which nights that I hosted, but I just know I was up in there till about 1:30 when last call for alcohol. And then I had to race out of here to go get on the air during the week because I was doing overnights. So I had to be in there partying with y'all and head straight up. What street is that?
Broad Street.
Broad Street, straight up Broad Street, up west, going west to the radio station to do my show from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m.
That's right.
That's what I did. So I don't know. I know I was in there during the week. There was nothing else for me to do but to be up in there. So yes,
one of the, not to cut you off, I'm sorry, but I guess one of the advantages we had is that, and I come to realize this later on, is that we was right dead center from New York to Florida. And there were limited outlets for black entertainers, hip hop or an R&B, to play or be exposed at. And as I traveled around the country, I found out that there were very few African-American owned clubs. Most were white or Jewish owned, but they had a manager that was black or whatnot. So we was very fortunate to also have a lot of the record labels that would bring their artists through and whatnot, and the booking agents as well, because I guess we was on that strip. I like to say quite a few times it was nothing for an artist to be on Soul Train on Saturday night and then be on my stage on a Tuesday night.
Right.
How about that? So you were at Bixby's. How'd you land Ivory's?
Well, a real unique situation, and it kind of fell in my lap accidentally. I had built up a little small cash next egg of maybe about $50,000-$60,000, and I let a community activist that I truly respect talk me into doing an anti-drug show at the Richmond Convention Center, and he was going to bring all the kids from the public school system, and we was going to make
August Moon.
August
Moon.
You said community activist. I was like, that got to be August Moon.
Yeah, exactly. And to make a long story short, when it's all said and done, I think we'll probably maybe about 150, 200 kids there. I lost about $45,000. I was down to my last $4,000. I was sick, man. And gentleman called me up, say, "Hey, Steve, this is a restaurant on Broad Street called I think it was Ellington's or whatnot at this point in time."
Ellington's, yes.
The owner also owns a restaurant behind it called Lums, and he looking to somebody just to take it over. So I will come by and take a look at it. And I went over, took a look at it, and the place was beautiful. Basic was a turnkey. So come to find out, he actually thought he was going to get someone that could kind of pay the rent for 4, 5, 6 months, and then he wound up repossessing it. So he could just add him over. He had no idea that I had experience in advertising and marketing and running clubs. So I took my last $4,000. Make a long story short, and he cut a deal where he financed the rent and so forth. And I had no idea about the bar and the restaurant end, but I knew the club and the entertainment side.
Right.
So make a long story short, man, I think my first 3 or 4 months did about $80,000 in sales. Went the second year with about $250,000 in sales. We was able to open the top floor. And in '89, I was able to do over $1 million liquid. I didn't even know I had made $1 million till my bookkeeper over. You know, made over $1 million. Man, I'm so busy living in life. You know, jetting down to Texas Stadium to see Cowboys in Green Bay. Or,
there we got to start that.
Atlanta, all over.
Cowboys.
Man.
Right.
I can't get past Cowboy fans to say night. No,
my cousin played for the Redskins, so it's all good too.
Shout out to CM Thomas. He says the best club in RVA history.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Daphne Johnson, like, wow.
Steve, before you started, there was a club in Petersburg where Eric and I was, going to quite often when we were at Virginia State University.
Yes,
the famous 24 South Union,
Mouse
right? And Mousie's joint. How much of an influence did that have on what you did up in Richmond? Because that club was hugely successful for Petersburg, in our minds. We were young at that time, but it seemed like it was the place to be if there was any place to be. And I think it was happening. Their success was happening in the early 80s, mid 80s, and yours began in the late 80s, more or less, right?
Yeah, I think what happened when I originally started Ivory's, it was really adults only 25 and over, really about 30.
Okay.
So I think they were doing hip hop for Virginia State college kids,
right,
all along. So I really wasn't, outside of knowing Mouse, I really hadn't spent a lot of time there. But I know a lot of the hip hop and rap groups would go there and whatnot. I hadn't been paying a whole lot of attention.
Okay.
Until I spent 5 years mostly as an R&B type establishment.
True.
That's to impress the whole nine. Then in I think it was like 92, we switched all the way over and hip hop all the way became a hip hop mecca.
Right. I guess you heard Eric and I talking about that before we brought you on. You were a part of that transition where R&B dominated the 80s. Exactly. And some of when we talk about our involvement with hip hop, Eric and I, how it was a fight for us to get hip hop played on the radio.
Absolutely.
So it had to be a challenge for you to allow, and maybe that's why you had college night on a Tuesday night. Absolutely. Because you had your R&B nights that were successful on Friday and Saturday night. Elaborate a little bit on that, Steve.
And we definitely don't want to forget Monday nights in the teeny weeny bikini contest during the summer.
Hey,
I don't remember that.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves yet. That's on the list to talk about. That is on the list.
So wait a minute. I think I'm confused here. So the bikini night wasn't on the same night as college night? It was two different nights?
Two different nights. College night was Tuesday. Bikini night was on Monday.
Yep, sure was.
And
you mean we were up there 2 nights in a row, Ely? We were in there on bikini nights and on college nights.
2 nights, man.
I think at one time
I was up in that joint.
I'm just saying we were there back to back because that's why I got them confused. I thought it was the same night. Thinking back, wow,
it was truly a great time, man. I remember it was one of the label reps told me, man, I can't believe, man. I've never heard of a club being packed 5 nights out of a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And those different theme nights, and we was able to catch an era where, like I said, it was very few outlets. You had, like I say, 24 South Union in Petersburg, but when you're talking about Richmond and surrounding areas, I would have individuals coming from Hampton, from New York, DC, even Atlanta, to Ivory's Uptown Lounge.
Right.
And especially once we were known for the acts appearing live. And see, during that time frame, during that transition, you got to keep in mind, with R&B, it was mostly banding shows. Right. And during, I think, right around 85, 86, 87, that's when the bands transitioned to DACs and track acts. So it took a minute for the audience to get adjusted to them entertaining with just a mic and a DAT machine or a DJ and 2 records. But see, the hip hop and the rappers helped that transition happen. And so when when I switched over from R&B to hip hop, you know, I'm talking about the Notified Natures, the Queen Latifahs, and everybody, you know, came Redman, the Wu-Tang, everybody, you know what I mean? So, we just caught it at the right time at the era of when hip hop was starting to take off.
Yeah,
and needed that exposure.
Absolutely. So if you're checking us out on Facebook, if you're checking us out on YouTube, make sure you hit the like button, the thumbs up button, notification button, as well as the subscribe button, and please share. Hey, Steve, look, we're gonna take you back to the 80s.
Okay.
You had somebody that stopped through, hung out with you.
Oh yeah,
the purple one.
Oh, yeah, we dropped the mic on that one. Drop the mic on that one.
Mic on this one. You had Prince up in your spot. He rode up in your spot like, you know what? I heard there's a place to go after the concert, and you made the paper for that one.
That was amazing. And one of the things, being located in downtown, is I would have all the acts when they finished their performance at the Coliseum or at the Landmark Theater at that particular time. And if they were staying over looking for someone to hang out, they would always come to Ivory's. And even from a standpoint of people coming in out of town, if they were staying downtown, they asked the maitre d' at the Omni or the Marriott where to go. And I'm the only, technically at that time, I'm the only Black club on a certain status level that everybody felt comfortable referring them to. So even the artists would come to my establishment. Now, Prince was performing at the Coliseum, but his entourage was in town for like 3 or 4 days, hanging out at the club, checking out the spot. Nobody believed he was actually coming. And see, that was during the time frame when he was making those guest appearance pop-up after his shows and doing another live set at the club, maybe 2-3 hours as well.
Right.
But it was simply amazing. And you know, and I believe it was on like either a Tuesday or Wednesday night. And once again, nobody really thought, oh, Prince ain't coming there. Nobody gonna be there, man. I tell you, that was an incredible night when he actually arrived. And we took him to the back of the club and then up to the second floor, then back to the first floor where he could see the whole club from the stairway. And nobody in the club recognized that or realized that he was there. So it's almost like something in a movie because he as he started to move through the club, you know, dance floor plaque, everybody in motion just grew into the sound, and all of a sudden they looked and saw that it was him, and the whole dance floor just froze. You know what I mean?
Hello. You guys can party now.
Yeah, maybe about 30 seconds later, then ladies start standing up in bar stools, screaming on the bar the whole night, man. It was an incredible evening. And I mean, it was just a great time, man. And then we walked behind the bar and hugged my wife. I said, "Okay, wait a minute, my brother. How that video is good? No, my brother, you got to get your own. You got to get your own, bro. Get your hands off my wife, man. Hands off my wife.
Right.
So you know what? We like Lorenzo said, it started off a whole lot of R&B. So let's go down that track real quick. Yeah. Not real quick, but let's just go down the track. Yeah. Keith Sweat was up in the club.
Absolutely. Keith Sweat, making it happen. Matter of fact, I remember
Daryl Oliver in the
Yeah.
What up, Daryl?
When Keith was releasing his album, the label, I mean, the management was calling me, begging me to book him in the club, but that was before the album had dropped. So I hadn't heard the record. No, it wasn't even on radio yet.
Make It Last Forever wasn't out yet.
Exactly. But I think it was like 4 or 5 months later, man, it was lighting up the charts, bro. But so even after he came to the concert in town, he hung out at the VIP lounge, and it bought this whole tour bus right in front of the club. They hung out all night, had a ball, man, and that was pretty much the staple of many acts, man. If they weren't performing at the club after their concert,
they were coming through.
Have a good time. They come and hang because the club was 5 minutes from all the venues. So they go a great distance. So and then we had some beautiful women at the club too. So
we'll highlight those two. We'll definitely highlight those two. We're just cruising down the R&B path at this point.
That's right.
Checking us out. Feel free to make a comment. We'd love to shout you out. Matter of fact, John Cox, what's up, man? He said Stevie gave him his first security job.
Oh, my man, John. Matter of fact, I see John on Facebook now, still buff. Even though 30 years later, he's still buff.
Yeah. He that martial arts kid that'll still get you.
That's right. John's a great guy, man. Great guy. You know, much respect. I still need to give you a call, man. I need to get a regiment so I can get back in shape.
Yeah. He still look like he could take you down. Real.
That's right.
So, in addition to Keith Sweat, this was the time when you go to the club and you dressed up. Now you can never do that. You got Tony Terry there.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Tony was on fire. I mean, you know, Tony gonna bring out all the ladies when I'm with you and all that. Man. So I mean, it's another incredible time. Great guy, man, and hung out all night signing autographs. Like I say, it was just a real unique experience. The VIP lounge was on fire, man. That's where everybody wanted to be.
Yeah.
So the club was actually 3 levels, but the VIP lounge was where the acts went to chill on the sofas in the private areas and sign autographs, take pictures, the whole 9. So
we gonna talk about him.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just saying we gonna talk about him. So Tony 3 times.
That's right. Matter of fact, this was they actually had performed, and you know, I was actually promoting concerts as well. I think I had done about 2 or 3 Virginia State homecomings, and on one of the shows we had Tony, Jazzy Jazz, Fresh Prince, and a couple other acts. So after the show, naturally, they come up to Richmond and hung out at Ivory. So this is one of the pictures from out front of their tour bus as well. So that was a great time, and that's when Feel Good and all that good stuff was on fire. So
right, and it was kind of cool because when we had a show with Wanda Hayes, and Dwayne called in on the show on a plane, right, Lo?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he did. He called in. She was on the show. We were talking to her, and he called in just to get, I think, for the last 10, 15 minutes of the show, Shooting the Breeze. He came on the show and just shared some of the good memories. And I think we talked about Richmond for a short period of time, but he remembered us. Yes. So, those memories. And a lot of times I have to go back when I meet some art, when I run into artists again, a lot of times I have to go back to, I used to work at Power 93. Right. Power 93 in Richmond, Virginia, so
I'm glad you mentioned that because Steve Crumley is another incredible program director and music man that played a big hand in my success as well. Yeah. And I remember he was at WOW. We had left Richmond, went to WOWie down in the Hampton Roads area, and they was having their big concert at Hampton Coliseum. Tony was on there. And I had, my act, MC Ruff and Obsession, they was on that same show. It had sold out, 15,000 people. But what amazed me, after they had came to the club and all, we walking through the hotel lobby, and Dwayne, hey, Steve, I was just shocked. You remember who I was? You know what I mean? So it's good to hear that they going back on tour again after, 20, 25 years later, they back together, get ready to do another tour. So that's great. Hopefully.
Let me share this story right here. Since he mentioned Steve Crumley and it's taking me back to my Richmond days. So there was a time where I came off overnights and I was doing the Powerhouse Party 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. on Saturday nights. And I was doing overnight. So I was basically going for the night gig, 6 to 10. So, I'm auditioning and I think I got the job. I think I'm good enough for it. And I get a phone call on the request line, right? Who calls me on the request line while I'm doing 6 to 10? KJ Holiday, who was working with Steve Crumley at WOWie, right? So you always answer your phones. So he, asked some questions. So I said, I'd be interested to talk to Steve. The next day, I'm filling in. He calls up on the request line. Says, how would you like to come down to 103 Jams?
That's right.
And do nights. So I end up not getting the job. They end up giving it to someone else. Okay. I called Steve Crumley up, said, hey, they don't want me here. He said, we'll take you down here. So then that's why I left Richmond to go down and work with Steve at Wowie.
Okay.
I don't know if I really. Did I tell you that story? I told you that story, right?
Oh yeah, I know the story.
Yeah. So I'm showing him the story, but I don't think I told that story publicly.
Right.
You know, so
It's the first time I heard you say it publicly.
Yeah, publicly, you know, but yeah, they didn't want me. CDX didn't want me to do that job. So I was like, all right, I'll go down to Norfolk, Virginia and be on 103 Jams, which I've said it before is the best radio station I've ever worked for, working with Steve Crumley down there at Wowie. 103 Jams.
Steve just got inducted to the Black Radio.
Yes.
Congratulations, Steve.
Congratulations to Steve. Well deserved. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. So we're gonna take you back here. Lo, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, Lo. Shut your mouth.
Have you seen that one, Steve?
No, I hadn't seen that one.
This one of mine. This is one of mine. I had to dig in the crates for this one.
Yeah. Robbie Michaels. I don't even remember what he's saying, but I do see After 7 back there.
Okay.
Along with, of course, you, Steve, and Gary Young. And we got some pictures with Gary Young we got to share. And Will Harris is right now. He's actually the general manager for WVST in Petersburg.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got Antoinette. Take y'all away. I was like, who is that in the back? I said, oh, that's After 7. That's right. That was a good night too. So yeah, man.
That was our number. We were celebrating being number one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We got number one ratings, I think, all across the board, number one in the city. So we celebrated where, Steve? At Ivory's Uptown.
I don't know where these guys are now, but I wish they would go back on tour. Talking about today, Big Bub.
Awesome. Yes.
That was a good concert.
Yes, indeed. And
I don't know where they're at now.
Yeah. And really, a lot of people didn't realize that was Regina Bell's brother. So,
really?
Yeah.
I knew that.
Yeah. So, but that was, they had some hot singles out, and I thought they would have went much further than they did, man. But that was a great show that they did, man. So, today, during that time frame, man, we had so much good R&B music, man.
That New Jack Swing.
Just on the hip hop edge, Teddy Riley took it to another level,
Yeah.
So,
right.
That was Ted's. That's that hip hop. What was that? That New Jack Swing.
New Jack Swing. I mean, it all changed when Teddy started producing the New Jack Swing acts. It started with Keith Sweat. That's when you would say he was doing that. Of course, he produced the show and so on and so forth back in '85. We know that, but we dictate '88 as where it started. We began to hear on the radio R&B and hip hop infused, and then those radio stations had to embrace both of them and figure out ways how they could satisfy the young-in audience and still win.
That's right.
But it was a great, and that's why people love the '90s so much right now. Right. And everything is based on the '90s when it comes to the sitcoms, when it comes to the movies, and especially the music. So that's why because that's when so many of us were able to, we were able to step up front and be on stage and be ourselves and be proud to be Black, and have some power and have some money. It may not seem like much to us at the time, but if the club only cost $3 to get in, no wonder I was balling. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just, we were really, just think about it. And the music, some of the hip hop was so diverse.
Yeah.
And in that early time, we didn't have NWA yet.
Right.
It hadn't come out in the late 80s until the early 90s. So you had KRS-One coming out with Self-Destruction. You had so many different artists that were coming out with pro-Black movement music. You had Public Enemy coming out with so many. De La Soul. King. I was trying to remember King Son, the X-Clan, ISIS, all of those groups that were on that Black movement, Black Power movement during that time. No wonder, the powers that be allowed the gangster rap to take over, we could bury that music.
Exactly, it's crazy.
It was interesting because Tommy talked about that when he was on Fat Tommy. Talked about the fact that when he was the national for Arista, that they X'd out Brand Nubian's budget because it wasn't ghetto enough.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so it happened. Now, if we live long enough, we're gonna see some things. And we've seen some things. And Steve, I know you've seen some things. You're right here with Mark from Levert. He's the only one left.
Yes.
From Levert.
Yeah. And,
Ooh, look at that shirt. You got that shirt buttoned all the way down to your navel.
Cool.
Oh man,
cool as ice.
Man, you had to be confident. And yes, sir. Tell us about the outfit we took before we talk about Mark.
Oh man, hey man, I always monitored dressing and style. And,
you've always
maintaining a certain flow. You know what I mean? So
do you sit back down and you kind of laugh, or you just say, "Nah, man, I was fly."
No, I
get off the doctor.
30. I mean, hey man, I was up with the times, man. So it's amazing that we're looking at even the clothing, because during that time frame, one of my cashiers was like the manager at Cavalier's Men's Shop, which was one of the top clothing stores for men. And during that time frame, late 80s and so forth, individuals would actually go to the clothing store on Friday and Saturday to buy what they're going to wear to the club that night. They in the beauty salons and the barbershop getting tight because they want to look good in the club, man.
Well, we were dressed up in that last picture, right, E? We had like a button down. Yeah.
Well, we actually had to dress up to be in the club because you couldn't, because it was a dress code.
Can you back up to that last picture, E? Can you go back to that, or you can't?
I can get back to it. Hold on for a second.
Okay. I'm trying to figure. I know I had something yellow on. I don't know if I should with my lights. There you go.
You got a tie on too.
I got a tie on too, and that was I probably had the jacket in the DJ booth somewhere.
Yeah, Will got a tie on,
watching it.
That was a different time, man. You go in there.
I got on a tie.
You go there with a tie on, bro. That's how it was back in the day.
Yeah, man. Hey, that was like an oak tree. That was the name of the store, Oak Tree, right? At the mall, Oak Tree. That was it.
Yeah.
So as we talk about the music and how it transitioned, that was an R&B group.
Jay,
they were on the edge.
They threw down on stage, man.
Oh my God, that was a good show.
I wish they had more than one album, man. So,
I know.
They had 3. Matter of fact, I'm looking at my gold album. And the pictures that I've got them on my wall. I ain't gonna go grab them right now.
Okay.
But they were one of those groups, man. And for you artists out there, man, look at that contract. They sold millions of records and they were broke.
Wow.
They never got, because the record companies recouped all of the money that they spent on promotion, their hotel stays, their videos. By the time that she came back from accounting, this your money went here, your money went. I saw a documentary on them, and they're going at each other's throat about it.
Wow.
But cats got to be, if you're an artist out there, look at your contract. How many times have we seen artists that sell all of these records and come to find out they didn't make a dime?
Right. And we talking even back then when records and CDs was like what, 13 to 1999. Per album. So they was getting filthy rich. As far as the record label was getting filthy rich, man.
Filthy rich.
So and here that these groups were broke and taken advantage of, but that's been happening even back to the 50s and the 60s. So that's pretty much been the standard, man. As a matter of fact, it took someone like Jay-Z with Rockefeller to get smart and say, no, we're not doing it this way. We're doing it ourselves. You don't believe in me. We're doing it ourselves and putting the Master P's and even the Eazy-E's. You start moving 10, 15, 20,000 CDs or cassettes out of the trunk of the cars, man.
And
then you have the labels eating out of your hand. No, we don't own that contract. We want 75%. You take 25% for distribution. That's how they became rich. They flipped the script on them.
And another cool one we did. Let me see if that loads up real quick without me getting kicked off the system. We don't want to do that. All right, there we go. I think she's about to load up. This is one of my favorite nights at Ivory's. Lord have mercy. Still processing.
Okay.
But no, man. Yeah. Take your sweet time, boo boo. There she go.
Oh yes, Shantae Moore. Yes, indeed. That was a beautiful time. See, we got Bo and
Got Bo up in there.
Louis Silas Jr.
Yeah, rest well, Lewis. Rest well, Lewis.
Yeah, that was an incredible time, man.
Yeah.
And she did an incredible show.
Yeah.
And she was a beautiful person, man. I rode back in the limo back with him to the hotel, got a chance to talk with her and Lewis and so forth. So, because back during that time, I was still trying to get a few local artists positioned to get a record deal and so forth. So,
oh yeah, I remember. We're gonna talk about that too.
Right.
Were you married at that time, Steve?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
In 87, man.
Okay.
Married in 87. I've been married for 35 years.
Okay.
Oh, y'all need a podcast on how to explain Black love, baby.
Word.
Okay.
Yeah.
Steve, now we talked about R&B. Now Lorenzo and I've been talking about this hip hop turns 50.
Uh-huh.
And they've been talking about it all over the place.
Yes.
And when we talk about the transition from the club going more R&B-ish to more hip hop-ish, like I said, if we live long enough, there's some people that come through the club that are no longer here.
Yes.
But the imprint that they put on the culture is immense.
Yes.
Now, the artists, of course, brought it to the culture, but you as a club owner, everybody that came through, what you meant to the culture. One of the greatest rappers of all times.
Yeah.
Pac.
Yes, indeed.
That night, Cool talked about it last week. He almost didn't get out the club if he didn't sing Brenda Had a Baby.
Yeah.
he forgot to put it on his dad.
Yeah, man. Tupac did some incredible shows. Matter of fact, we had him at the club 2 years in a row, back to back.
Yeah.
And they loved him, man. And the guy was just brilliant and ahead of his time.
Right.
And I remember at one point I had did a little mini tour, like four nights with him, 2 nights in Richmond, and then 1 night in Hampton, 1 night in Norfolk.
And Norfolk, yep.
Yeah, and this was probably 4 or 5 months before he shot the two off-duty police officers in Atlanta, because it's going a little buck wild. I remember when they first got in town, I went to the hotel just to meet him.
Right.
It was almost something in the movie. I like seeing it in the movie too. And road man's coming. Hey, what's up, Steve? Oh, come on in. The whole room smoked up like I don't know what.
Oh, yeah.
2 girls on the bed fighting, and the bodyguard taking them out the door. Like, what the hell?
Sound check at 6.
He's just what up, man? What up, man? Like it ain't no thing.
This is Tuesday. Steve. This is Tuesday for me.
Yeah. Yes, indeed, man. So
yeah, man.
So many times, man. It was great, man. It was great, man.
But the thing about it is, man, you had so many artists that came through there, and it was just crazy. So when we talk about your contribution to the culture, you had some of the greatest people that ever, graced the stage. Some of our hip hop iconic folks. When I saw these pictures, I was like, "Yo, Dougie Fresh."
Yeah. Mm-hmm. VIP lounge. Just Doug is the man. Everybody of all genres, all ages love Dougie, man.
And rocking the brand new Heavy's t-shirt. Yeah, I remember that.
I wasn't gonna say it, but I saw it. I was like,
yeah, we all had that t-shirt. Yeah.
Indeed. That's him in the VIP lounge doing autographs and taking some pictures, man. So incredible entertainer, and it's good to see those that stood around, 30, 35 years later, man. And,
he's still doing it. He's still doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're getting ready to do a mixtape show in Atlantic City.
Okay.
Really? Yeah. DJ Jazzy Jeff, Dougie Fresh is going to host it, and they're going to have 50 MCs.
Wow.
And so basically they're going to run it like a mixtape. So DJ Jazzy Jeff's going to be cutting up the instrumentals, and 50 MCs are just going to come on, rap to whatever Jazzy Jeff is playing, and boom,
you know what?
And the next MC.
That's an incredible concept for a national tour, man. I'm serious.
Yeah.
If they can get the numbers right, where everybody don't get the big head all of a sudden.
Somebody gonna get the big head.
No, it was Charlie Mack that was talking about it. So Charlie Mack, I think it's his concept.
Okay.
So so he's rolling with it. So that's what keeps him in the game, man. Keeps coming up with those ideas.
That's right.
And it's probably whatever he does, and they do at Atlantic City, it's the same thing. Dougie's going to incorporate on stage at Essence, because they're doing the same thing at Essence. They're giving a tribute to 50 years of hip hop.
Awesome. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Another one of the legends, because we're gonna start with the early legends, the BIGDADDYK.
Both fresh to death.
fresh to death.
Yes, indeed. Big Daddy was the man. I mean, he still is the man, but
yeah.
Yes, I mean, those during the days when he was doing stuff. He did
Playgirl. Huh? He did Playgirl. Remember, he did Playgirl.
He did Playgirl.
Why you do? Yes,
he did do Playgirl.
Yeah, ladies loved him for that.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, nah, man, and Scoop
cool
and Scrap,
man. Yeah. So
man. So it was like when they came on stage, they put on a show.
Yes,
right.
And him and his dancers, and he danced with his dancers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So Kai, I think he kind of inspired me when I had Frankie D and Yo, and we were at the Richmond Coliseum, and whenever I would host for the Great Jose, Frankie D and Yo and myself, we would come out and do. I mean, it's like thinking about you did what?
It's coming back.
Yes, no, we're hosting the concert. So to open the show, I would have a DJ, Frankie D and Yo would be my dancers, and we would come out there, dance, do a routine, and I would hype up the crowd.
Yes.
To open up the concert. Like you and it worked. You know what I mean? Yeah. It worked. And the crowd embraced me for it. But I think it was all inspired by Scoop and Scrap and Big Daddy Kane. You know, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, yo, we did that. And I think one time the artist will remain nameless. That's the phrase I'm looking for.
Okay.
It's long. I do a show from 3 to 7, and then I take a break, and then I come back on here. So moving a little slow. But anyway, the artists will remain nameless, but they were the opener for one of the concerts at the Coliseum. And we had come on, Frankie D and Yo and myself performed with the DJ. I can't remember who the DJ was. The artist came on and they booed him off the stage. After I introduced him, booed him off, and asked for us to come back on stage. And we came back up stage and did another routine and introduced the next group. You know, then the rest of the show went smoothly. But I remember that. Boo! It was probably somebody from the West Coast. They weren't familiar. Not that they were whack. They just probably didn't know the group.
Yeah.
You know, so it was like boo. You know.
Oh man!
I'm not gonna say the group.
Okay, right.
I'm not gonna say the group.
Hip Hop Turns 50, and we're talking to Steve Branch. He's the owner of the one of the most decorated nightclubs that has ever graced the place in Richmond, Virginia. And a lot of artists went through there. And as we talk about the culture, we're reminiscing on some of the folks that came through, some of your music heroes and sheroes and things of that nature. This is a fun conversation. And like we said, if we live long enough, we see some things. Rest well, Heavy D.
Yes.
He's coming through the club.
MC Ruff.
MC Ruff. Rest well, Ruff. And Steve, you just talked about a few seconds ago that you hung out with Lul and Shantae as you were putting yourself together, putting your ducks in a row about starting your record company. This is your first artist, is it?
Yes. MC Ruff and Obsession.
The Obsession dancers.
I took them everywhere, man. Jack the Rapper, and so never quite hit for us. We had about 3 or 4 singles. We never had that big break that we needed. Incredible live show as well. And we opened for a number of acts. And then also had another act called GQ Vocalist, and believe it or
But
not,
the Funk Motor was pretty good, Steve.
yeah,
that was
Yeah.
Funk Motor
but he
was,
wasn't my artist. But Funk Motor, he really set it off in Richmond.
yeah.
He was the first.
Wait,
But
That's not rough.
that's not rough.
That's
Okay,
not
my
rough.
bad.
That's not
I'm
rough.
sorry. I'm sorry.
But
So
the
what song?
melody was
What was the biggest song that MC Ruff did?
I Can Make You Dance.
I Can Make You Dance.
I Can Make You Dance. That's okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, Funk Motor was Melody.
Yeah, Mr.
Gotcha.
Melody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Melody.
Then I had my artist GQ Vocalist. He's actually his single actually went #1 in Hampton Roads.
Okay.
But I took it. This is a incredible story, man. Because my friend Steve Kroger was my man. I took it down to the station for him to listen to. I didn't even have no tracks printed up, no CDs or nothing printed up yet. What do you think, man? I'm
Put it
coming
on.
back down 64, and the track was that remake of Funky Music. And man, it boy sounded just like LL Cool J, man. I'm thinking about today even re-releasing that on Spotify or whatever. So, but he actually did quite well, and those were the two. But that music industry, you don't know what you're doing, man. It can become a bottomless pit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Miami Dolphins for life. Gotta give him a shout out, D.
Okay.
Gotta give him a shout out.
And
Yeah.
Miami Dolphins for life. Rest in peace, Heavy D.
absolutely. Now these are two artists that both of them asked me to manage them and be a part of that what they had.
Mhm.
And I also wrapped up in a club that I didn't move on it. One of them was Sam the Beast. Got some boots. What I did, I took it down to Steve Kroger.
I am the beast.
Coming back down the road, do.
We played it.
That went all over the country, man. And then D'Angelo, MC Ruff brought him to me, man. Before he had signed his first deal, he sat in my biz right in front of the club, man. Played me his track. This was on a Friday. I wanted to get back to him on Monday and get him signed. He was already swooped up and going to New York before I could get back with him, man. So,
Wow.
some of those opportunities I kind of look back at and say, okay.
What
But it's all good, man.
for you at that time?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, hey,
Let's go back. Kwame.
yeah.
And Rough.
Uh-huh.
In the VIP, is that the VIP lounge?
Yeah.
That's the VIP lounge.
That's the VIP lounge.
That's the VIP lounge.
And you couldn't have hip hop without the queen of hip hop soul in your club.
Oh yeah,
MJB.
Mary performed a couple times at the club, man.
Oh, I remember.
The first time she came to the club, man. I mean, choir was going wild. She did an incredible job.
Right.
And I happened to walk down to the VIP lounge because that's where they went after the show. She was down there cussing on her dancing. Y'all messed up everything. I said, hey man, y'all was awesome. They did a great job. She just kind of chilled.
She was dressed in that. They were dressed in those hockey jerseys. I remember that.
Yeah.
Because Lou Tucker was in it. Shout out to Lou Tucker.
Lou's
gonna be on the show. Lou already told me he's gonna be on the show. He's here in Atlanta. I always see him all the time. So he said he's gonna be on the show. But Mary, I remember when Mary came out, I tried to steal the cassette on the airplane coming back from, we'll probably tell the story. Lou go tell the story, I'm sure. Because he gave me the cassette. And at that time, they let you listen to it, but you can't hold on to it. You get a cease and desist.
That's right.
Yeah, I tried to steal that cassette. He waited for me to get off the plane, get my bag. It's like, give me the cassette. But Mary, man, I remember when she performed at the club. Well, you're right. I remember she cussed out everybody. But she the queen now,
Right. That's right. That's Mary.
MJB.
That's right.
Now we're gonna have a little fun, Steve, because we're gonna talk about this guy right here. He was here last week.
Oh yeah, DJ Cool. Now that's the man, the myth, and the legend. He's the one that really kicked off college nights and made it a part of history.
Yeah.
I mean, matter of fact, DJ Cool, even before he re-recorded in Philly, he originally recorded "Let Me Clear My Throat" in Ivory's on the top floor. And
I remember.
yeah, and really, like during this time, he had asked me to manage him. I ain't have time. I didn't see it.
You couldn't see it.
Wow.
I was there watching the dance floor where we're at. All right, hold up, freeze. Well, I don't want to stop on a dime. Everybody stop. I was watching it from the DJ booth with him.
Yeah.
Man, it went all over the country. Matter of fact, from time to time I'd be in pro ball game arenas. And I hear the song come on during the breaks and so forth, man. So, man, Cool is incredible entertainer. Matter of fact, I believe he deserves a lot more props and recognition than what he needs to be in the Hall of Fame for what he's done. Especially coming out of DC and the Go-Go and going nationally. I mean, cool. I remember one time, we haven't showed it yet. I remember Queen Latifah was came to the club, and just for like a little meet and greet autograph session. Mm-hmm. And when she walked on stage, Cool had her freestyle, caught her off guard.
Oh.
Right. Man, Queen threw down. I mean, she knocked it out of the park, man. But that was cool. Cool put her on the spot. All right, let's see what you can do. You know what I mean?
And you're like, come on. Let me see what you're gonna do now.
Yeah. And Steve, last week, I shared with Cool that I would be in that DJ booth with him, watching him practice that entire first album.
Yeah.
Upstairs.
Yeah.
One more time, baby. And just bringing it back. And I was amazed with how he was able to still to keep talking and keeping the beat going back and forth, and then freestyling whatever he was saying off the top of his head, but he still kept the beat going back and forth because whatever song he was cutting up at the time was the introduction was not that long. So he had to keep it going in order to keep the beat going and keep communicating with the crowd. So music ain't loud enough. 20-minute
workout.
20-minute workout. All of those songs he practiced upstairs in Ivory's Uptown Lounge before he put it on cassette or vinyl back then. He practiced, and I witnessed that. So it's amazing to be sitting here talking to you now, having spoken to him last week. We're talking about one of the biggest records in go-go hip-hop history. And let me clear my throat. It will go down, and I think, as you said, he needs to be in the Hall of Fame because of what he did for merging the go-go culture along with the hip-hop culture and being a DJ that can cut it up and rock the mic just as good as any other New York DJ.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So because he has that game, that's why he needs to get those accolades. That's right. Without a doubt. And he took what separates him. I didn't talk to him about this last week, but he took a hip-hop breakbeat. The 900 number, and did let me clear my throat on top of it. That's why he was able to merge hip hop and go-go, and he got the respect from, say, New York. Because of what he did, because that was a 45 King beat.
That's right.
So
Cool was the DJ, house DJ at the club.
That's right.
That's when I moved to buck contest and bathing suits and all that stuff. So I don't know where I found these pictures, but this was the guys in the club right at the club at the stage. They all having a good time.
Is that from your photo album, E?
Yeah, they all having a good time.
I remember that. I remember those pictures. I've seen that before. Who are they reaching for?
Look, I even took I put a smiley face on top of her because she could be married with kids at this point.
That's right.
I don't know who she is.
But I need some of those pictures.
I had to put smiley faces on them because I didn't know.
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
But this is Ivory's Uptown Lounge.
You put the smiley face on the face.
Smiley faces on them.
Oh my goodness.
I had to put the smiley faces on them because they could be married with kids at this point.
Oh man.
It's your mama, son. No, we're not gonna do that. Shout out to my man Reggie Booker. He says, that's my man right there. You guys gave me my first job working the door. I want to know. Oh, man. This is...
what am I doing on here? Okay.
Oh, man. So, Sean Rivers, Ivory's was the spot. Yeah, it was. It was the spot. And Steve, you talked about this a few seconds ago.
Yes, indeed. That was the night, man.
That was the night.
Wait a minute, you just came from playing flag football, bottoms up.
Dude, I just came back from playing a flag football game. I got a strawberry on my elbow because I hit the ground, I was gonna make sure I was gonna see the queen, dude. I was gonna see the queen. I was gonna see the queen. Yes, God, I was gonna see the queen.
Oh my goodness!
Another funny story that night. One of the cats in the club at the end of the night came to me and said, "Steve, I need you to get my girlfriend off Queen's bus. Queen won't let her off the bus. Queen won't let her get off the tour bus."
It had to be that way.
Well, I think it's the security or whatever. Eventually, got his girlfriend off there.
Get my girl off the bus, please.
That's right.
Get my girl off the bus, man. Y'all got me tearing up in here.
Yeah,
this is so
a
funny.
1,000,001 stories in the naked city, bro.
Yeah.
I know you got some more, Steve. You want to write a book? The book coming?
Oh, and the movie.
All right, me and Eric, we got a star in it. Okay,
That's right.
We want a star. If it's a documentary style, we'll act like whoever we need to act like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We got a little experience in doing those.
Yes, sir.
DJ Rec, what's good? What's good, Don?
Oh yeah, definitely. We talked about being in the club, and one of the things about being in Ivory's, I swear, I lived in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and I live in Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and they got beautiful women.
Mm-hmm.
And in Atlanta, Orlando, Miami, all the places I live. But at Ivory's,
Yes, indeed.
boy, we had some nights up in that place.
Yeah.
Finest women up in that piece.
Yeah.
So yeah. Ivory's is one of them spots.
A whole lot of men found their wives. A lot of women found their husbands in Ivory.
Yeah, that was. We had.
Steve, do you remember any of these individuals?
I remember Antoinette and
Okay.
there's lovely ladies in the club, man. So that's
Lovely ladies in the club. Just lovely ladies in the club.
take good care of all of my customers, man, making sure they're happy. So
Yeah, man. So yeah, I'm trying to flow through some of these pictures now. Like, okay, all right,
He bypassed the twins.
no.
No, I'm talking about Steve.
Oh yeah, shout out to the twins. Shout out to the twins.
I wanted, I would always have, 3 or 4 friends close by that look good, and I would have them, being a distraction, with the women, making sure they are good, because I'm focusing on business. I'm watching my bar, I'm on the door.
Right.
I ain't got time to be chasing women. You know what I mean?
Right.
I see you in that low with your head, and I'm waiting.
Hey, Eric, is that you in the back sticking your tongue out?
Yeah, like y'all can't see me. Hey, Steve.
Yes, sir.
Only you could tell this story. Actually, it's only 3 of us could tell this story. But before I do that, make sure you hit the like button if you're on Facebook, notification button if you're on YouTube. Make sure you hit the subscription button. Shout out, we got some folks that Tawanda Hudson. Why is this post up and why can't we see the other speaker? Everybody sees it.
No, we can't. I think we're blocking Steve's face.
Oh,
is that what they're saying?
At the bottom, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
because Steve got the camera down so low. That's
Yeah,
Steve's fault.
Huh? What is
Steve,
it?
You got hold your head up just a little bit, Steve.
move
Yeah.
down.
There you go. All right.
Okay.
Shout out to my girl,
I thought you were trying to
Riley.
show off everything you had going on in the back. And to my Dolphin fans, that's Kenyon Drake. That's the Miami Miracle right there that you see. Yeah. To my Dolphin fans, it's the Dolphin channel, so that's the Drake picture that we all got. So just
That's right.
Shout out to my girl Tammy Riley. They called her a pool shark. She was up in there.
So she was still on the pool table, huh?
on
Okay.
the pool table.
But
Shout out to
Steve,
my man.
I will ask the question. I'll ask the question because I
Oh.
don't want y'all to dance around it. But you had a
I can
host.
dance around it.
You had a host of the bikini contest. How did you go about choosing your main host for the bikini contest? Who actually made the bikini contest such a huge success on those Monday nights?
Well, actually, the club itself was just filled with talent, and y'all had some of the greatest talent right there in the radio station.
That's true.
That happened to be emceeing the clubs. I think I just happened to ask Miss Dee Dee Renee and Miss Antoinette, would they mind modeling a bikini or a swimsuit and hosting the Tina Wiener bikini contest on Monday? I thought it would be nice. I would have a couple hundred people on a Monday.
Oh, it's more than
I had no idea they would be packed. Club be packed all 3 floors, lying down the sidewalk to get in.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So was that one of your bigger nights?
Yes, it was.
Was it bigger than your Friday and Saturday?
It was close. It wasn't bigger than the Friday and Saturday, but it was close. And when I would say I was bigger than Friday, nothing was bigger than Saturday. I would put Monday. I would put as far as my biggest 3 nights would be Friday, Monday night, and Saturday night.
Mm-hmm. And
Tuesday college night would come right after the Monday night.
And I don't know if you're heading in this direction, but you know, Ivory's Uptown Lounge would be we would say was number 1, right, in the Richmond area. But there was some competing clubs, Steve, that you had to be somewhat concerned with on certain nights. So you know, which clubs would you say? Okay, if it's I don't think you had to worry about anybody on a Monday or Tuesday night. All right, you didn't forget that. But with your Thursdays. You know, I remember DJs was kind of popping on Thursday nights. Yeah. You know, and then
DJs was Thursday, and then Polo Bay. Matter of fact, when rest in peace, Willie Poe.
That's right.
But I remember when he was just starting to talk about opening Polo Bay. Mm-hmm. He would come to me and ask me every question. He would actually study Ivory's. I respect that about him. It was actually any question. Why you do this? Why you doing that? The whole 9 yards. And to make a long story short, I mean, Polo Bay became an incredible, successful club, man.
Right. And, I mean, I think that's when he came and got me.
Exactly.
And then I started hosting over there. I can't remember what night.
Cool, some of my best talent. Stoker Norman.
Yeah. I think it was either a Friday night or a Sunday night, because I couldn't do it on Saturday night because I was on the air. So it had to be Friday or Sunday that we were on there. But we came and scooped us up from over there.
Yeah.
Brought us and on was there any competition on Saturday night, or you really I think you locked the city down?
I dominated Saturday night until DJs either went free. Or it was either free on Saturday night or did something ridiculous.
From 3 to 3.
Yeah, something like that. And that really cut into the crowd. And that's some of why I wound up going hip hop on Saturday nights, because my crowd, I was accustomed to 1,000, 1,200, maybe as much as 15 people coming through. Mm-hmm. And then when the number started to get a little low, 300, 400, because 600 over the other side.
Right.
Wait a minute, the money getting funny.
Yeah.
So Steve, right.
I want to go back to this picture real quick.
Okay.
Juan Condi.
And
Eric Lee.
Yeah.
You remember what happened that night when we were broadcasting?
This night here? This night?
No.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember the night that we had no idea that the mic was open? And they were playing Brand Nubians. Playing Slow Down. And me and Juan calling back because I was calling back to say, yo, we're back here at the blah blah blah. And he was playing Brand Nubians Slow Down. And I was rapping because we were sitting there because watch that, and I'll still play. And that we had no idea that we were still live on air, cussing up a storm. I'm rapping the unedited version. They were like, "Yo, dude, you on the air? You on the air?" They was like, "That's going to be the livest place around right now."
How did they let you know you were on the air?
When I got in the club,
right?
Dude, you were cussing the whole time. I'm like, Juan was on the air.
Oh, so y'all were at the radio station. You weren't broadcasting live.
No, we were broadcasting live.
You're broadcasting live.
And I'm the callback.
Right.
Yeah, we down here at Ivory's. The place gonna be off the chain, blah, blah, blah. But the pot was already up. And I'm sitting there, slow down.
Hey, baby, your hips is getting big.
I was like, scrub that, and I'll still pay.
Oh man.
And Miles gonna fire me tomorrow. Oh God. So that's why I wanted to go back to that picture.
Okay.
But as we talk about hip hop, man, and how important it was, and we're talking about the 50 years of hip hop and your club being so instrumental in being that place. We got some more shots of some more folks that you were very instrumental. This was a cool shot. We got a chance to. We had Thomas here last. Actually, he was like our third guest.
Okay.
On the show.
Yeah, I'm a Fat Tommy or Thomas with Def there.
Thomas Littell with
wow.
Def Jam.
Thomas is the man as well.
Yeah. Here we go. Nice and smooth. Well, got my
Showbiz and AG.
So yeah, man, it was
sincere. That's sincere right there.
Yeah, the God is in here.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
So all of the, I mean, when you think about all of the stuff that you've done with so many artists, man, hip hop wouldn't have been hip hop unless we had a place for people to come to, have a good time, and your place was the spot, man.
Where it could be seen as well as heard. So, that was an incredible era. I just appreciate the fact that when we look back, we all were a part of history, man.
Right.
I mean, you think back into the 40s and the 50s when you had the Duke Ellingtons and the Tap Dance Twins and all those cats and James Brown and all of them coming up. That was an incredible era, but nothing was like that. Nothing revolutionized the world and changed the thought process of an entire generation like hip hop did. You know what I mean? So that's the impact hip hop and the culture had as a whole, and it caught everybody by surprise because nobody expected it. It wouldn't last. You know what I mean? It took a while before we even radio started. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
we say it every show, basically, to let people know how hard it was to get hip hop played on the radio. And myself and Eric were people that would bang on the doors of the PDs and the general managers, like, look, you have to play this music. Yeah. This music is what the youth wants to hear. And in Richmond, you had the 2 AM radio stations. You had KIE and WANT that was playing hip hop before Power 93 existed.
That's right.
Those stations were playing hip hop. So how are you going to be an urban radio station in Richmond? You got your 2 AMs that are playing hip hop. You got the clubs that are playing hip hop, and you're not going to play it on the air. Well, it's because they didn't know it. They didn't understand it. That's why they gave me the freedom to play it on the Powerhouse Party, because they didn't know it.
Okay.
So, it is a part of history. And that's why I'm glad to have you on, Steve, so we can give you your flowers now while you're here. And we're documenting this. So whenever me and E transition, it's going to be stuff.
That was a time when they wasn't even playing hip hop. I just saw them.
Exactly. Because I get a little annoyed when I watch these documentaries and they just throw in there, and we got to head on down to Virginia.
Right. Yeah.
But they don't talk about, how important, where. Right. They don't mention Ivory's Uptown Lounge. They don't mention DJs. They don't mention Polo Bay. They don't mention 24 South Union. So many of these artists came through this market in order to have their records broken. They don't remember the DJs. They don't shout us out. But we here, so that's why we do this show. And that's why we do our best to make sure we mention the people that open the doors for us. Because if it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for the Gary Youngs, hiring me and putting me on the air and then give me the freedom to have the show where I could break hip hop.
Yes.
I would not been able to do what I do today, so. Will Barnes, loving you in that commercial, Will.
Yeah, man.
Will. Boy.
Yeah. In the house. Matter of fact, my man Jimmy Jones said, great show. Glad he tuned in. I appreciate you, Jimmy. If you're checking us out, make sure you hit the like button, Facebook, notification, subscription button, YouTube. Definitely help out the channel. Lorenzo, you just said something that I can't get past. Because Steve not only had his nightclub for us to party and hang out, good place to have a wedding reception.
Oh yeah.
Gary Young.
That's right. That's right.
The man that hired us. And the man in the middle was, of course,
Barry White. The maestro.
The maestro. Man, that was a good time.
Yes, it was.
That was a good time.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I had to bring out the picture.
Yeah.
Reception. This was the reception.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, man. That was it. This was a,
oh my God, I got so many pictures. I got so many pictures. Oh, but as soon as I saw you in that shirt and tie, I'm thinking about the photo album that I know all those pictures are in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's so many from that particular night, Steve.
I guess every record, every label,
everyone
was there.
Oh yeah,
everyone.
Oh yeah. When he
man, those were the times, man. Yeah, legendary times.
So let's talk about. I'm gonna piggyback off what Eric was talking about. How important, because it's lacking today, and it used to be the foundation of being able to have a successful club, to really be connected, to have that umbilical cord connected to the soul of the streets. You had to have your relationship with the radio station. You had to have your basic club. The club and radio station working relationship basically enabled both entities to be able to succeed.
Absolutely.
You know, it was so important. And I think it's lacking today. I don't see it as much as I used to, but tell me about that dynamic and how important it was for you to have a radio station basically tied to your club for your club to succeed.
And was one other element that was added to that, and that was the record shop, like Churchill Record Shop.
Right.
Because those owners told us what the kids were buying.
Right.
And the adults as well.
Right.
You know, so, but being able to have the relationship with the radio station was priceless. You know, because they had outlets for them to have their events when they were inviting. They had artists at their disposal coming in to do an interview, and hey, I want to do 2 or 3 songs. They needed a venue or place to make that happen.
Right.
And a lot of times, I was the benefactor of that. I mean, a lot of talent.
Right.
And so, I'll always be appreciative of that. But at the same time, having the connection or the understanding of advertising and marketing, the radio during that time, that was before social media, that allowed you to reach individuals and tell them your message in entertainment. Tell them about your particular facility and what you have going on. And a lot of times I would write or create my own commercials. And before I would pass it on to the sales exec, I would say, now, if I was riding in my car, what could be said that would attract me in a commercial? And that's what I would put on the radio. And that's what individuals would hear throughout the week that would have them lying down the sidewalks, because it was a certain image, a certain atmosphere, a certain thing that attracted that audience. Because I look at that like this: everyone in town that's in that radius, that's on the same mindset that I am for entertainment, they're going to be here on a Friday night, on a Saturday night, on a Monday night, on a college night, whatever the case may be. And that's what created the success. But I needed the radio to put that message out to the public. Otherwise, individuals, it would only be word of mouth. And during that time frame, you never could reach enough individuals. So radio allowed you to reach the masses. And curiosity is what truly drives activity. And radio gives the curiosity for anyone that's never heard of the club, never been to the club, coming down 95, coming down 64, having to be listening and enjoying the radio, and all of a sudden this commercial comes on about this club. So not necessarily my club, but anybody's club.
Right.
So, wow, that really sounds interesting. Oh, after work party, the whole 9 yards. So it truly was a creative way of marketing the clubs over and above flyers. Now, today's aspect of social media, I understand it because it cuts that advertising and marketing budget to a fraction of what it cost then.
Right.
But during my time frame, I don't mind sharing these numbers. I would spend over $100,000 a year in advertising and marketing. But a lot of people wouldn't understand that 100,000 a year brought me 7 figures, over $1 million back.
Right. Right.
You planted the seed.
Exactly.
Right.
Bar, door, food.
Right. Right.
So that's how it all came together for me. And sometimes you just have to be creative.
So it sounds like what you're telling me now is radio needs the club more than ever.
Absolutely.
Right. So that's why the radio station should be reaching out to club owners like, look, I need to have a club
presence.
night because people are not listening to the radio the way that they used to.
That's right.
So it's like get off your high horse, put your ego to the side and like, look, I need this club because I need to touch however big the club is, this 400 to 500 people every Friday night because I gotta get them to come back to the radio now.
That's right.
I have to get them to meet my air personalities.
Right.
So basically, to those program directors, you need the club more now than the club needs you, especially here in Miami. They don't need radio at all.
Right.
Period. They got South Beach. You got Live. You got clubs that they don't need to advertise on the radio because it's a tourist destination and they know where the parties are, by social media. So the radio stations need to reach out to the clubs because they need to have that interaction with those listeners because, radio is not the same as it was, 20, 30 years ago.
It's a different story. Hey, man.
Depending on what market you're in, E. Atlanta's a different story.
You can advertise in Atlanta. Yeah, you gonna do that. You gonna do that. You gonna do that.
Who is the woman?
That was Paris's manager, I think.
Okay. EPMD.
Okay. I don't know if Eric was with him. I think they was having beef at that time. Remember they broke up for a second?
Yeah.
And the group went with, it was a hit squad. It was Doc.
What?
It was Redman,
oh my
Keith
God.
Murray.
The high top fade. I had
you
it.
got the high top fade.
Ooh, wait, if I can throw that back.
Yeah, we throwing you all the way back.
That's right. The acid wash jeans.
Yeah. I look like a kid right there. Because I was. Oh, that was in the VIP lounge. I know that.
How much you weigh in there, E? I'm probably about $155 there.
135 soaking wet with a brick in my pocket.
About $155.
135 soaking wet with a brick in my pocket. Go back. I mean, that club, boy. Woo wee.
Yeah, and we are down in the basement. That's how we started the show.
That's right.
Steve, down in the basement.
Down in the basement.
VIP.
I think there was a night. It didn't happen at your club, Steve, but I think we were at Ivory's Uptown Lounge. And then we left Ivory's Uptown Lounge to go to this other club, which was right down the block. I can't remember what the name of the club was. So it was the night we were there, and then we left Ivory's Uptown Lounge and went to this club. And there was a talent show going on, right? So it was a talent show going on stage. I was there. Their manager was there. And the two artists, the group, right? That was the night that EPMD was there with Bernard, their manager, and myself.
Okay.
We left your club, went to the other club to see this talent show, and that's when EPMD discovered DASAFlex.
Wow.
That night.
I had no idea. Wow.
Yeah, I was one of the judges and brought that story up to Eric's sermon years later. Okay. And he knew me.
Right.
But he forgot that I was the judge that night.
Okay.
Because they fixed the contest.
Okay.
So I told him, I said, this is what happened. I wanted DASAFlex to win. Plus, they went to Virginia State. You know what I mean? So I wanted them to win. And they were like, when I gave them my score, they was like, all right, we'll put your score. And then the three of them got together. I was like, what they doing? Right? And they left me out of it. So that's when they fixed it so that they would lose. And then they whoever the other, it was the trap. Okay. Whoever the other, the Tropicana. Okay. So whoever the other group was, there was another group, which was kind of dope too. Won, and they made DASAFlex the losers because they were going to sign them to a record deal.
Wow.
So we were there. I believe we were there that night and went down the block because I can't see how I was went to that Tropicana with them. So I think we were hanging out at Ivory's because it was right up the block, right? The Tropicana?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right on Broad Street, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So wow. Thank you, Finley.
Yeah, Brad, always on top of it. Thank you, man. Brad, thank you for taking us out, bro.
Again, I can't remember everything, man, but I remember that. Remember that. But I was there the night the DOS Effect was discovered. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. And I knew they were good. Them cats was dope. I was like, yo, I think I gave him like a 97, 8, 9,000 or something like that. Yeah, man.
So Steve, we've seen that, and I truly dig that the brothers that got their wealth and became very good businessmen in terms of artistry, because like we talked about earlier, that Jade and so many other artists went broke.
Yeah. The
TLCs of the world. And then we got the Jay-Z's of the world that's worth $2.5 billion right now, that came through the clubs.
Right.
And the gentleman that I'm gonna pop up with you right now,
Master P.
I mean, who cares about what he did as an artist?
That's
but
right.
as a businessman,
Brilliant.
this dude is no joke.
That's right.
And when I saw the documentary where he wanted to get a distribution deal. He wanted to make Michael Jackson money.
Right.
He got a distribution deal where he got 80 cents on every dollar.
He was getting more than Michael Jackson.
He was getting more than Michael Jackson.
Right.
For those of y'all out there listening to us right now, Michael Jackson, the king of pop, sold more records than anybody. Master P went to the powers that be, and they wanted to sign him. He had to take 80 cents off of every dollar. Nobody, that was unheard of.
Huge, yeah.
So, how did you hook up with Master P?
Well, this is one of the big concerts we did at the amphitheater, where it was this whole entourage: Master P, Silk the Shocker, Lil Romeo. The whole entourage.
The No Limit family.
The whole No Limit crew.
Right.
So that was at the amphitheater. I think we had like 12, 13,000 people out there for that, man. And it was real cool. You know, we did get a chance to sit down and talk. My daughter that's in radio, I think she was probably no more than 8 or 9 at that time. He let Romeo take a picture.
Lil Romeo.
He said, hey, Lil Romeo. And matter of fact, that was an incredible show. I think we had Music Soul Child and what's that? The other brother that sings sound like Teddy Pendergrass.
Jaheim.
Jaheim. Lil Mo. I mean, it was an incredible show. But naturally, Master P and his crew headlined the whole show, man. So that's where that event was, man. That was incredible.
Okay, yeah, I just dig Master P's business prowess.
Yes,
because there's so many artists that they do make money.
Yes,
but they squander it.
Yeah.
And then there are artists that don't make any money. And then you got the Jay-Z's, the Kanye's, the Rihanna's. I mean, these guys took their money and blew up with it.
That's right.
You know, so you just said something, Steve. You must have been reading my mind. She grew up in the business.
Yeah.
She watched all of the stuff going on. Her daddy was the club owner. And now, your daughter.
Yeah.
She's still in Philly?
Yeah, she's still up in Philly.
Okay.
She's actually transitioned. They transferred the format from hip hop.
Okay.
So she's transitioning right now. But yeah, man, I'm doing
she's the program director up there, right? Or she was at one time?
She was.
I did not know that was your daughter.
That's his daughter.
I did not know.
Wow. Okay. Small world.
Wow. I did not know. I actually went up to 100.3 R&B and auditioned one weekend up there, and I didn't meet her, but signage was all over the studio.
Right.
And I was like, oh, she's nice looking. Oh, okay. All right, cool. This is she's a PD. Yeah, respect. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I say, all right. Okay, cool. If I get the job up here, I'll know, who to, to reach out to.
Yeah,
did not know that was your daughter. Like, wow. I'm married, so I'm just saying.
But you're right. She grew up in it. Man. A lot of the concerts, even in bigger venues outside the clubs, she would be there for the sound checks and so forth. And
so she was around us during that time, Steve.
Yeah.
Wow.
And even a lot of times, even when I would pull up to the club before the club opened, like midday, like 1, 2, 3 o'clock, she would be in the Jeep, and when I go in just to check, make sure everything's set for the night, the whole 9 yards. So she was always around the clubs and the concerts anyway.
So what influenced her to get into radio?
When she was at Hampton at age 16, she just decided that that's what she wanted to do. She was broadcast.
Was she on the air at HOV?
No. Her first job on the air was at The Beat as an intern. And
over there with Mike Street?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, with Aaron. She started with Aaron before.
Aaron, okay.
Yeah. And Sheila Bell was there as well. And then T.T. Torres is the one that brought her over to Power.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to Wanda Hayes.
Yeah.
Wanda Hayes said, hello, Steve.
Hello, Wanda. How you been? Going way back. Yeah.
Hey, Tammy, thanks for the love, Tammy. I see you on here, Tammy. Got to shout her out. She's been.
Oh yeah, we shouted Tammy out. She said she said she knew that was your daughter.
Okay.
Tammy's up in Philly.
So what years was she down in Hampton?
Oh man, you got me going way back now.
You were gone by then, Lo.
Yeah,
that was
you were gone by then.
Probably mid 2000s.
Oh, okay, yeah,
She ended up at Power 92 for a second, right?
Yeah. She was doing middays.
She was doing middays.
Yeah, before she went. That's where she worked before she went to Philly.
Yeah.
And
everybody kept saying Steve's daughter's on the air. I was like, Steve's daughter?
Yeah.
Man, she's so good too. I was like, all right.
Yeah. And she all told she spent about 12 years in radio. And she's only 33 now. So she started at 16. So
right.
And kind of elevated her way up. So
that's great. That's
we're
great.
proud of her. And she's still doing her thing as an influencer. And she got some big things in the mix I can't comment on, but some good things coming down the pipe. So I'm always there to support as well. So she also needs the legends to reach out and say, "Hey,
we're in Atlanta. I mean,
you're in Atlanta. You're in Miami.
I'm in Miami.
Let us know.
Just tell her to reach out.
That's right.
I'm in Miami and Orlando.
Okay, Miami and Orlando. Okay,
yeah, he all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to throw this in because, like I said, Steve, you caught him early.
Oh yeah.
To Paris.
To
Paris.
Yeah. This is an incredible story because they had just finished a concert at the amphitheater.
Okay.
And they came by. Matter of fact, it was them, Jagged Edge, and a couple other acts, but they were starving, man. So naturally, gave them something to eat. And then chicken wings and fries.
Get the girls from to eat. They look skinny.
Yeah. And then they was doing autographs. So I just long line waiting to get in and get the autograph. I just went to the front of the line. They looked at me like I was crazy. Like, who are you? And I said, "Oh, it's okay. I own the club." Everybody started laughing, and so that's just I just wanted to get autograph made out to my daughter Paris. So, and that's a beautiful thing, man. That was back in '97, I believe it was 97, 98. So Paris like 8, 9 years old, and so that's history as well. Who knew they would become the #1 female selling group in the whole world?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You had a unique relationship along with BET as well. You always had Donnie Simpson. At your club. Where
that picture at? I forgot.
Yeah. There's that picture with Donnie's. He's creeping. Look like he's creeping in. He snuck up in the club. I got that picture. E.
Okay.
And I remember that because I interviewed Destiny's Child on BET, filling in for Rachel doing Planet Groove. And I think that they were on that tour. That was like one of their first early tours where they were going around up and down the East Coast and headed down here. But I remember seeing Donnie there at Ivory's quite a bit. Tell me a little bit about that relationship and how you got him to come hang out in Richmond.
Well, actually, it was the PD with Aaron Maxwell that got him to hang out.
Okay.
That's where I met. Matter of fact, they was in town for like 3 or 4 days. They was doing a big segment at the Richmond Convention Center.
Okay.
I forgot what the name of it was, but it was being broadcast live, like a teen summit type thing, live for like 2 or 3 days. So while he was in town, he was hanging out at the club. So that's how, once again, and that's how it all connected. But that thing was that Friday or Saturday night, the last night he came to hang out. We had a ball, you know.
Yeah,
women falling all over. You know
yeah. I remember that night vividly, and we got pictures of it. So that's why I want to ask that. E.
Well, Steve, we have just gone through, 20 years of clubs in about an hour and a half, and how much fun and entertainment and what the hip hop 50 turning years old and all that other stuff. Brother, your transition from being a club owner to what you do now, because we've been on for about an hour and a half and there are people who've been in and out. How did you transition? First and foremost, what made you decide to leave the club owner life and do what you do now?
Well, I was looking for residual income, doing the job good one time and continue to being paid off that same transaction, a lot like sales. And I knew in the club business, that wasn't something I could leave to my son, my daughter, my wife. It took me to make it happen, and put it all together in the whole nine. So network marketing with the right product is huge. I was able to replace the income without the overhead. Like in any business, whether it's a club or just a traditional business, 75 cents of every dollar that's taken in is paid out in some type of expense. Right. Where in networking, if you get the right product, right ownership, and right compensation plan, when you make a sale and you're paid, it's 100% profit. It's an extra paycheck, whether it's 100, 1,000, 5,000, 50,000, and it's unlimited how much you can make. So the key is, once again, with marketing and advertising, being able to expose this particular company, especially when it's a new product or service being introduced into the marketplace. You have the advantage, first mover's advantage, as far as taking it to the marketplace. That puts you in a position where you're generating an extra $2, $5, $10, $15, $20,000 a month. Then in 2009, on top of that, the cryptocurrency era hit with Bitcoin. Right. And individuals knew, and even now today, still knew very little, especially in the African American community, about cryptocurrency, where people were becoming millionaires overnight for this digital coin currency, going from 10 cents to $100 to $300 to as much as $60,000 a coin, the beginning January of 2022. Right. So you have individuals, 25, 30, 40 years old becoming multimillionaires because they may have been sitting on 1,000 Bitcoins or Ethereum, whatever the case may be. That's the wave of the future. But as far as leaving the club, I'm actually about to get back into it because I want to say a whole lot. But it's not in Richmond, as that's going to be in Atlanta. We'll be partnership.
What night am I hosting? No, I'm just.
No, because
no, I'm good.
Entertainment, event complex.
Be a sub promoter. Be a sub promoter.
Yeah, that we're looking at having opened by September in the fall.
Well, you know who your AE is down here. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so I can't say too much more.
I know.
I'll come host. Okay.
Yeah, but entertainment will always be a part of who I am. It'll always be a part of what I do.
It's in your blood. It's in your DNA, Steve.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just don't need the headache. Don't need the fire marshal, the building inspector.
Right. I remember that. It was like this. What happened, man? The fire marshal up
Fire marshal.
And look around. Yeah. These people out here in the back, man. Squeeze deep out in the back.
I remember. So what was going on? That happened a couple of nights, but this one is very vivid. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, what name one of the most vivid nights that you remember when the fire marshal came through, Steve?
Oh, let's see. I think it was I know we had a hip hop act that we did get the show. We did get the show on, but I know the fire marshal made me cut up all the lights and empty the whole club.
Yeah. I remember the night.
Everybody got to go home.
Everybody got to go.
Hey, I mean, we was packed wall to wall in there, you know. So
Yeah, I know I was in there for a couple of those.
yeah. Oh,
And yeah, I remember a night where a group was there and they were supposed to go on, right? And they cleared out the club, and then they came back on later, right? After they wasn't back in the club or something like that.
Which one?
I don't know.
I remember it faintly, but I remember I've been in there many times when the lights had to go up. Because you know, you can always see it. Shout out to my girl.
Yeah. But we remember. The thing is, we remember the fire marshal.
Exactly.
That's how big. That's the point. It doesn't matter. But and we came back, whatever it was, the next night.
Right.
It's amazing to sit back and think.
Oh, yeah.
Monday night, Tuesday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and even a Thursday, you were open and had successful nights.
Yeah. We
Thursday was probably the slowest one of the 5. Yeah. I mean, that's unheard of for a club.
And we was blessed, man, because we had a good staff too. A lot of the guys that were football players for Virginia Union was waiters and bartenders.
Mm-hmm. Big Paul.
Yeah, had beautiful hostesses and waitresses.
Actually, they went from Paul and Steph went from your bouncers
to boys to men.
Guys for boys to men.
Exactly. Yeah.
I remember that.
Right.
And then you had Athena Sheed, who was one of the security. She was so fine.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was like, handcuff me when I walk in the door, please. This security was fine. Yeah. Shout out to somebody gonna say Eric been talking about she. Shout out to she, boy. But yeah, I forgot about Big Paul and Steph. They ended up
traveling the world with boys and men.
Traveling the world with boys and men. Yeah. And Virginia Union football players. Yes, God. Those are big dudes too.
Yeah.
What night is your most memorable night?
I still would have to put Prince at the top.
The Prince one?
Oh yeah.
Not the nights when it was packed. I mean, it was a beautiful scene, man. Because they have TVs and monitors on all 3 floors, and I would have cameras rolling, and so the cameras would actually be showing the movement between all 3 clubs and the dance floors and the whole 9. And it was just matter of fact, someone was asking me the other day, what did I miss about the club? And I would say, you know what I miss? I miss either I'd be coming down 95 from DC or 64 from Norfolk, Virginia Beach area. And on a Saturday night, and I'm coming down, heading to the club, and one of my commercials come on. And as I'm coming through downtown Richmond with the city lights and the tall building, the whole 9 yards,
right?
I'm thinking like, that's my place. That's
right.
Then I pull up into my club, line going down the sidewalk. And man, I just said, man, and then one of the laborers called, hey man, I got such and such in town. We need a table with such and such, and who the act may have been. Right. And, I mean, that's what I miss. That feeling and that joy, and just being the man, because you have the hottest club in town.
Yeah, you were the man. You were the man.
Politicians and sports figures and everybody.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Somebody came through. Steve, so. What we hadn't talked about, as we get closer to the end of the show, you got 3 doctorates.
Yeah.
How'd that come back? How you go from club owner to doctor?
Well, because of the success in business and also being a philanthropist all along, probably for over 35 years, I've been giving back to churches and organizations all across the country. And also been traveling around doing financial empowerment seminars, trying to uplift the entire community. So I think a part of my blessing and my success and the anointing is having the ability to be able to move mass amounts of people and having people to listen. And so I like to use that audience to, especially in the minority community, to help uplift our people, because at this day and time, man,
talk about it.
We in trouble, man. Yeah. I remember when I built my house, I was looking to put a couple columns in front of my brother-in-law had excavating company that knocked down all the trees. So when they was doing the landscaping and all, he had a bunch of Mexicans clean the landscape. And so I want, and they were working in the brick and in the dirt. So I said, I want to get a price on what the columns would cost. He said, well, go ask Paco. I said, which one Paco? He said, well, because you told me this one named Paco. He said, just call all of them Paco. Well, the moral of the story is now Paco got 15 trucks on the landscaping company. You realize that we working for Paco now. So, I mean, so that's how other nationalities, whether they're Asians, Indians, Mexicans, Spanish, come in and overtake our community, start businesses. And when they start business, they provide jobs for their people. Right. And a lot of what they do is they train and they teach their cultures to keep their money inside their community.
That's right.
And see, we don't have that. We're the only community that do not keep that dollar circulating within our community. Don't do it. Jobs for our own people.
I saw Steve. It might have been 2 days ago. I forgot who I was watching online, and the guy was talking to this Jewish guy, and the guy said to the Jewish guy, they were having a conversation about money. He says, "Well, I'll have one of your dollars soon." He was like, "You'll never have one of my dollars."
Wow. Wow.
And the Jewish guy was like, "It's not a racist term that I'm not being mean about it." Mm-hmm. He says, "What I'm about to explain to you." And he broke it down to him. He says, "This dollar will go back to my community and it will be circulated from that business owner to that business owner to that consumer to that business owner multiple times. You'll never see that dollar because it stays in my community." Unlike your community where it only lasts less than a minute.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it blew the dude's mind because the Jewish guy was putting him up on game.
Yeah.
Look, he said, when I drop this dollar, it's going into my community and it's going to be recycled and recircled. He says, when you drop it, it's going to Gucci, Louis Vuitton, blah, 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 people that don't care about you.
That's right. That's right.
And until we get to the point where we understand the power of the dollar, because think about it, when we did understand the power of the dollar, they went to Black Wall Street and blew it up.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
What you won't do is learn too much about it because we'll come in and take care of that one way or the other.
Yeah.
Right.
But, just like you said, other communities understand that in order to empower our people, we need to financially educate them and empower them with our dollar.
Right. And
it's okay for your dollar to go out to your community, but not at a split second.
and see, the thing is, realistically, I mean, it's a lot better now, but across the country, we are not connected to other successful business owners and knowing who they are. So our kids are not looking at successful figures. I mean, social media has made a big difference now. Right. But for the longest time, we weren't. People in California or Detroit didn't know who a Steve Branch was because we weren't connected to each other. Right. You know what I mean? From a business standpoint, someone could be very successful. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a prime example. A month ago, met a couple in New Orleans that's launched a hair product called GoFinity. Have done $300 million in sales. Now they're only like 40, 41 years old in New Orleans. I had never heard of them. Wow. 16 been on Steve Harvey, I had never heard of them. 300 million in sales with their hair growth product. So, I mean, that's an example how we aren't connected to each other in our community to know exactly, or our successful entrepreneurs aren't put out there for everyone to be able to find easily. And we are able to do business with one another, whether it's construction, whether it's clothing, whatever the case, automobile sales, insurance. I mean, we need to know who our people are that we can do business with. So,
well, I think first and foremost, we need to know who we are.
Absolutely.
You know, we need to learn about ourselves. And that's why I decided to do a trip to Egypt.
Yes.
So we can go to Egypt and we can hear about the pharaohs and the queens, and people can go to the pyramids,
Yeah.
which is really a mirror, and understand that the Greeks and the Romans came into Africa. And yes, Egypt is in Africa. They don't tend to they don't say that all the time. They don't want you to believe that it is, but it's there in Africa. So you can go to the mirrors and the pyramids and see the writings on the walls and hieroglyphics, and have the right tour guides that can interpret it to you and let you know that we are the original man.
Yes.
And when more and more Black folks understand that, they'll have more and a better self, a sense of self.
Yes.
We got to get to that. And once we get to that, then we can understand everything that's going on. Steve, what we were talking about before you came on, we will talk about what's happening in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Where they basically expelled, I think they expelled the second Black guy too.
Yeah.
Justin Pearson and Justin Jones. They expelled those two, but they didn't expel the white woman.
Exactly. And she actually said, I survived probably because of my race.
She said it because why didn't they expel you? She said it, white woman, because of the color of my skin.
That's right.
So look, it's Tennessee. It's the home of the Klan.
Yeah, it's happening in Memphis.
Yeah, that brings up another a sense of reality. Like my son is 27 in medical school, but when he was going to UVA, and we're talking 6-7 years ago. When I would tell him, even going to Charlottesville, you got to be conscious of the culture because it's limited African Americans in your surroundings, even in your dorms, the whole 9 yards. Right. Oh, Dad, it ain't like that no more. Like I'm talking about the 60s and so forth. To a certain degree, I was so glad the Klan came marching with torches across that UVA campus for the whole world.
After you told him
exactly
to keep your head on a swivel.
Exactly.
Stay woke.
So that it could wake up our youth that's 15 to 35 that never really experienced racism like we have, at least not the way we have seen it over the years, to know that it's real. So that's the biggest sense of awakening that we need within our community, and knowing, who you are and what you need to do to better your family and uplift yourself. So, so anything that I can do, I'm always looking to help the next man. And so I've been recognized, over the last few years for some of the things I've done in business success and accolades, and went to Bible school to achieve certain things as well. So,
amen to that. Amen to that.
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. So
you got to take God.
Like I say, jack of all trades and master of none.
Well, Steve, it has truly been a pleasure to have you on the show. I'm sure my next guest will say, "Hey, man, remember we did I know whomever we bring on next, go say something about Ivory's, because it was the mainstay, and we thank you for, of course, being on the show. And shout out to your family, man. You raised two good kids, man.
Well, shout out to my wife, because when
I was
she was at the house raising the family.
I was about to say the best for last, because your wife.
Yes.
The fact that you beautiful family, and you took some time out for us, man. I've worked for you. I've watched you. I've watched you in your network marketing field, and you blew up, and people talk about you. It's like, you know him? I said, yeah, I know him. You know Steve? You don't know Steve. I know Steve. That's my dude. So let everybody know are you on social media, brother?
Yeah, Facebook at Steve K. Branch. On LinkedIn under Dr. Steve K. Branch. Instagram, I'm not the social media. I'm still like the guy called Caveman, so I ain't on social media like the young folks. Right. But I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm not on TikTok. Snapchat. I'm not.
Look, they're gonna get rid of TikTok.
Yeah,
for
they're
you.
gonna get rid of it. Yeah, man.
Your government about to get. You ain't got to worry about TikTok. There won't be no TikTok.
Shoot, let's see. TikTok banned at Florida University, Florida State University, Florida International, Florida Atlantic. Just banned.
Wow.
Yeah, that happened today or yesterday.
Okay.
Tell them how they can find you, Lo.
Well, Steve, it has been a pleasure. We've communicated, on Facebook, instant message. So we got to keep those line of communications open. As far as growing our own community and dollars, let's try to see what we can do to do that.
Yes.
I don't know how we can do it, but if you're at the head of it, you're saying, hey, I want to bring everyone's resources together. Hey, Eric is on a digital radio station that can advertise all the stuff that needs to be disseminated to the people.
Right.
So we can start our small little melting pot and then branch out from there. Pun intended.
Absolutely. And that's what's so amazing. Even you mentioned earlier that you work for me. I tell everybody we work together.
That's true.
And what's even more amazing and makes me even more proud of the relationships is to see how everyone evolved in their own careers and where they are today, how far they transcended in life and still doing so.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of incredible talent and individuals that we are connected with. So I think we definitely can bring the right folks together to make some things happen. And I truly, from the bottom of my heart, I truly appreciate you guys, man. Every time I see you doing certain things in your own worlds and still looking good and healthy and strong, man, and I'm just super, super proud, man. So
I'll try. Well, come to Egypt with us, man, if you can. Think about it.
I went to Africa back in I think it was.
Here we go, another 10 minutes. I'm just joking. No, tell the story. No need to rush. Take your time. No need to rush, Steve. Tell the story. This is important.
I went to Africa. I was invited by Yvette Michelle in her camp. Matter of fact, the young lady that was manager invited me. They came and performed at the club, and they said, "Oh, well, when you leave here in like 2 weeks, we going over to Africa, Johannesburg." That's when I hit my club Amani's over on Lawson Turnpike. That was the former DJ.
We didn't even get a chance to talk about that club.
So I said, and she invited me. I said, "Oh, really?" Because I had never been there. I said, "Well, I'll pay my own way. I'm not trying to ride off for you." I said, "Okay, well, you can come with us." So we went over there for like 14 days, man, and it blew my mind. And what the crazy thing about it? Going to South Africa, like 16-hour flight, the furthest southeast part of the world. On the left, Virginia, the East Coast, all the way to South Africa. We go to the club where Yvette Michelle's performing, and somebody yell out, "Hey, Steve!" I'm joking. One of our former bartenders was a part of a fashion troupe that had been traveling the world, and he happened to be in the club that night. And just moved their way. I'm on the other side of the world.
What part of Africa? Cape Town?
Johannesburg.
Johannesburg. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And I think Theotis, man, and that blew me away, man. On the other side of the world.
Well, if it's not this year, I think it's something I'm going to start doing each and every year. If I can.
This is the point that I really wanted to make is when we was driving. Matter of fact, the Queen of Swaziland, we ate lunch at the palace. I mean, it's just like on TV. They got armed guards at the gate with machetes and so forth, in case they try to take out the king. The king wasn't there, but we had lunch with the Queen of Swaziland, just like Michelle Obama, and a beautiful time. But when we came back, was at night, and just the whole black sky with the stars looked so bright that you could touch them. And at that point, as I was looking up in the sky, I said, "This truly must be the motherland," because I've never seen anything quite as beautiful in my life as we were traveling through the hillside at night, looking up at the stars. So, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. Nothing like you hear when something running through the streets with spears and nothing.
Right.
Everybody I know that goes to Africa, there's like it ain't nothing like they try to make us.
That's right.
That's right. They lied to us
on purpose.
Whitewashed everything. We have to question everything now.
Hold on. They lied to us, and then they went over there and set up diamond mines.
Right.
Yep.
All the resources, the most.
But ain't nothing over there you want.
Right. Yeah, man.
It's amazing, man.
Well, that looks like a sunset in Africa that's over your head right there, as you were telling that story.
No, actually, that was in Hawaii. So,
well, Steve, thank you so much for coming on with us. We greatly appreciate it. And of course, you can find me Monday through Friday, 3 to 7 p.m. on Star 94.5 in Orlando, and on Saturday night, 6 to 10 on Hot 105 in Miami. And of course, every Thursday night here, me and Eric Lee, conversations with a DJ, just shooting the breeze and having a good time. And big shout going out to Will Barnes, Wanda Hayes, James, Jimmy, and everyone else. I'm gonna go watch this Heat game. So don't nobody tell me what the score is. I got it on record, and I'm gonna go watch to see what we did to Philadelphia. You know what I mean? Steve thought I was watching the Heat game at first when he came on. I was actually watching what was going on in Tennessee. And yes, the 2 black lawmakers were expelled.
Yeah.
So now they are stars. They're martyrs now. Watch them.
Yeah. Somebody can be like this. We shouldn't have done that.
No, they're going to start a movement. They're going to create a movement. And most of the kids that were protesting to support them were white kids.
Wow.
Were white.
Yeah.
Well, so I think that goes to show you that there's going to be a new generation of people that like these old folks just.
We don't think like you, mom and dad.
No. You know what? Before I give my information, some things I think about. I think money changes everything, and it changes people's attitude. Just like the school, just like the fact that Tennessee did the things that they did. Mm-hmm. What if the players that play for the Tennessee Titans decide not to play for the Tennessee Titans anymore? What if kids don't decide to go to the University of Tennessee to play basketball or to play football? So when we start pulling us as a resource,
what if the NBA decides not to play the playoffs?
Right.
It's all coming. It's coming down.
It comes down
to money.
If you get
Citizens United needs to be overturned. So let's start there.
Yeah. So
that dark money in politics needs to be gone. Once that is gone, we can get back to being, negotiating and debating. But as long as that money is there and those guys are being, those 30% are supported by the NRA, nothing's going to change. Right. Citizens United needs to be voted out, period. It's got to start there.
Yeah. But I think at the same time, I think dollars will change people's ways, because we live down here in the South and the SEC is big, and everybody likes to brag about the football team. Guaranteed, if black students stop going to the University of Tennessee because of what they do, if black players decide not to play in Tennessee, somebody gonna say, hold on.
That's right.
How much money we're gonna lose?
Yes.
If Ja Morant and all those that play for Memphis, you know what? Trade me.
Ooh. He would be the perfect person after he got caught up with the gun.
Trade me.
He would be the perfect person. You onto something there.
So when you mess with the money, that's when things get funny.
Yeah.
Because if you get to the situation where the people that think about slavery, when we talk about the fact that what slavery was, it gave the majority an unfair advantage, because it took the price of labor out of their hands. They didn't have to pay for labor.
Right.
Everything they did was pure profit.
Yeah.
Giving them that edge. So they understand economics.
Yeah.
If you decide just think of a school not having the ability to recruit our finest athletes, our finest elite educated, they couldn't survive, because the teams that did have those, or the schools that did have, would beat them all the time.
Yeah, that's right.
If we decided, one of the things I got to give it up to my Jewish brethren, is that you're not gonna ish on their community.
Yeah.
Puff Daddy had All About the Benjamins, and I talk about it all the time. He had a lick on that song that says, "Stack chips like Hebrews and let the melody intrigue you." Now, from a hip hop perspective, the kids are just giving props to what the Jewish community
was doing. Right.
Money. The Jews make money. He said stack chips like Hebrews, but the Hebrew nation said, hold on, brother.
Yeah.
You will not say that because that's a slant to us.
Yeah.
And we distribute Bad Boy Records.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to continue to do what you do, you're going to have to edit that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've seen Little Kim perform last year at Essence. The LGBTQ community is so big that in her song, she would say something derogatory that was a rhyme in the lick that everybody knew, but she changed it.
Okay.
She changed it for a reason, because you will not ish on their community anymore.
That's right.
You will not ish on the Jewish community anymore. But you can say N-word, N-word, N-word all day long.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
You can ish on your own community, but you ain't gonna ish on their community.
That's right.
They don't care if we ish on our own community.
Right.
They don't care if we shoot and kill our own community. That's why the governor has signed a bill that you don't need to have a permit in order to carry.
That's crazy.
Because they know the percentages of people that are going to kill one another are who. Yeah. And then we're in a stand your ground state.
Yeah.
So that means, oh, I feel threatened by you. Mm-hmm. Oh, I can shoot and kill you just because I feel that threat.
Yeah.
And then I'll go to court. And if it's a black versus white thing, you know who's going to win.
That's right. That's right.
And that's what he's banking on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can take this whole conversation down a whole different level.
That's right.
but you know what? I think it has. We heard it goes back to the beginning, because in those early hip hop records, those were the things that Chuck D and Kumo D and KRS-One were talking about, Sister Soldier, and we weren't ready to hear that at the time. You know what I'm saying? We heard it, we absorbed it, and we listened to it, but we still wanted to party. Yeah. And then that's when the system came into play. That, okay, we're not going to be playing or supporting this any longer. This is the stuff that we want to push. That's and then Bill Clinton, as we always say, comes in and signs that deregulation bill. So those mom and pop black radio stations that were dominating in the ratings, will no longer be able to dominate, because now we'll have consultants that can go ahead and just tell you what to do. And they don't understand how to program black radio.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's another conversation.
Wow. Okay.
We go about to go down the rabbit hole this time.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, but the thing is, I can say it here because I say it on my show.
Yeah.
Right? So you know, I got the freedom to say it on my show. I talked about the governor today.
Yeah.
You know, just point blank, and what happened in Tennessee. Like, what y'all gonna do? What we gonna do here in Florida? What we gonna do? You want to call Rick Scott? I got his number. I got Debbie Wasserman Schutz's number. I got Mark Rubio's number. Call me and I will give you their number so you can call them to do something about gun control. You think I got a phone call? You think I got one? No.
Wow.
Not one.
That's why our community is different than theirs.
Yeah.
If you said something crazy about them, they would have called all day long.
That's right.
You guys can check me out a combo with the DJ on all my social media platforms. That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Make sure you hit the subscription button as well as the notification button, because, of course, we'll be back next Thursday with some good guests, and we'll let you know about that soon and very soon. Steve, hang around for a second in the green room.
Okay.
And, we're gonna make this thing legal in a second. Lo, you ready to get out of here?
Let's go.
All right. We'll see
Miami Dolphins. Miami